Hello YouTube, I am known here as AMCN1 and I'm going to start making videos. I'm going to start joining the YouTube wrestling community, chipping in with some of my thoughts on wrestling and what happens in the industry, my opinions on it. I've been in the IWC for, I don't know, about since 2005, the middle of 2005, and I first became aware of the YouTube wrestling community about 6 months ago, maybe a little longer than that, and I find it out to chip in with some of my own thoughts concerning wrestling and my opinions on it. I'm going to start now with a topic that I could probably talk about a little better than some of the other shooters on here that are probably a lot smarter than I am. I'm going to start with a topic that I can relate to because I am from Ireland, and this is a topic concerning TNA's impact ratings in the UK and in Ireland, because they claim that they are competitive. They claim that they sometimes beat the WWE across the board, all three shows, and if they are not competitive, there's no ratings war going on in the UK and Ireland, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, we first heard about this, I think it was Impact in August. Dixie Carter showing up her first appearance on Impact with Bobby Lashley. She showed up, she totted up Bobby Lashley, and she said that Impact is competing, sometimes beating the WWE, all three WWE shows in the UK, and she included that the UK is probably arguably the second biggest market for wrestling in the world. I got a couple of problems with that. I've got problems with that in that first she said that the UK and Ireland is the second biggest market for wrestling in the world. It's not. It's not the second biggest market for wrestling in the world. There are British wrestlers. There is British wrestling, and British wrestling is cool. British wrestling and Irish wrestling is very good wrestling, and you can see that some of the wrestlers that we have that have found success in America, some of the British and Irish wrestlers, they are very good wrestlers. You have Nigel McGuinness, aka Desmond Wolfe. You have William Regal. William Regal's a very good wrestler. You have Doug Williams. And of course, the two wrestlers that have been pushed very recently by the WWE, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Sheamus is an Irish wrestler. Sheamus, you don't have to agree with their pushes, but they're both very good wrestlers. Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, Drew Galloway, are both very good wrestlers. Alright. Even though there are some very good British and Irish wrestlers, there is no equivalent of the WWE in British wrestling. There is no company that could be categorized as a British equivalent of the WWE. WWE is the biggest company in the world. They are the biggest in Britain also. They are big everywhere. There is no equivalent, British equivalent, Irish equivalent of the WWE. There is no even an equivalent of, Ring of Honor or those companies. There are no big British or Irish companies. There are small ones, and they can produce some good wrestlers, but there are no, for the large part, no big companies that would be considered big in any part of the country or any part of the British Isles at all. So, like, the British market is not that big for wrestling. If you look at these ratings, if you look at how the viewership in the UK and Ireland, they're not big figures. 75,000 people on average watch Raw, something like that, and compare that to the millions of people who watch Raw in America. Compare that to the vast audience that WWE has in Mexico and other places, and you'll see that Britain and Ireland is not a big market for professional wrestling, for the WWE, for TNA. So even if TNA were competitive in Britain and in Ireland, would it really matter? No, not so much. It wouldn't. It would not. Alright. Now that pretty much covers how vast and how important the British and Irish market is for wrestling, for TNA and WWE. It's not that important. But there are also a lot of things wrong with TNA's assertion that they are competitive in the UK and Ireland. They are not competitive in the UK and Ireland. Okay, let me explain it for the Americans, and because they probably don't know how the cable system works here. We call our cable Sky. We have our Sky television package, and we get that for our TV, and we pay a set amount a month, or I think we pay a set amount for it. Okay. There is a Sky Basic package that has a set number of channels, and then there are extra charges for specialised channels. There are extra charges for documentary channels, there are extra charges for sports channels, for movie channels, for news channels, for all the special lines of channels. Sometimes the charge isn't that much, sometimes it's very low, but for others it is very high. And in the case of sports, of course, Sky Sports carries the WWE. That's an extra €20, which is $30 about, every time your Sky cable bill comes along, and that adds up. That adds up every time it comes, an extra €20. That adds up, and that means that, and Sky Sports carries the WWE. That is what carries the WWE. The line of programs that you charge €20 more to get. TNA, they're not on Sky Sports. They're not on Sky Sports. They're on a channel called Bravo, which is carried by Sky Basic, the basic package of Sky. So what does that tell you? TNA are on a cheaper channel. That's the only reason they may appear competitive in the UK. They're on a cheaper channel. They're on a channel that probably more people can get. This is a troubled economy. This is a troubled economy, and as a result, more people probably have the channel that carries TNA. And if they want to watch wrestling, they watch TNA. Okay. In addition to that, the time slots. The time slots for WWE are not really that convenient to most people on this side of the pond, of what you would call it. Raw, we get Raw Live, but Raw Live in the UK and Ireland means it's on at 2 o'clock in the morning. Am I going to stay up and watch Raw at 2 o'clock in the morning? No, I'm sorry. Raw's not that good lately. I'm not going to stay up that late to watch it. So they're not getting my rating. My TV is not going towards WWE's ratings over here, because Raw is on live and that means it's on late. The repeats, I'm not too familiar with the repeats because I have a Sky Plus, or equivalent of DVR, so I would record it and watch the live showing and watch it then. I'm not too familiar with how the repeat schedule is, but from what I remember before I got the Sky Plus box, they're on at 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. So like 5 o'clock in the afternoon is not a very good time to go home and watch it, because I'm not home at 5 o'clock most afternoons. I'm in night study. I have exams this year. You won't know what this is, but I have the Leaving Cert exams. So like I'm not home at 5 o'clock in the afternoon to watch it. So if I didn't have a DVR, if I didn't have a Sky Plus box, I probably wouldn't be able to watch Raw on TV. I'd have to watch it on the internet. And SmackDown, we get SmackDown on Friday evenings, which isn't a good time either. So we get SmackDown actually, I think, a few hours earlier than they do in America, because you know it's taped. And if we got SmackDown the same time they did, again it'd be very late at night. They don't have to do that with SmackDown. So we get SmackDown on Friday evenings at a good time if you were home on a Friday, which most people are not. So there you go. SmackDown's not a good time either. And I don't know about ECW. ECW, I don't really watch it anymore. I watch it on occasion. It was good during the summer, but it's kind of gone down a little bit now. So there, and Impact, we get Impact. Impact airs on Thursday in the US. We get it on Saturday evenings. We get it on Saturday nights at 9 o'clock. That's a good time. That is a good time to put Impact on. That's a good time slot. I could probably watch it if I didn't have the Sky Plus box to record it. I probably would be able to watch it if I really wanted to. So there you go. Time slots make the difference. Time slots, there's a good time slot for Impact, not so much for the WWE shows. That is why TNA may appear competitive, or sometimes beating the WWE in the UK, which they are not. And even if they were, it really wouldn't make any much of a difference. So, I hope that was informative for those of you who may not have been familiar with how TNA could be competitive in the UK. That pretty much shows you it's not really a competition. It's not a ratings war. It's not the case at all. I'm out. Hope you. So yeah, this was my first video, and I hope I can do some more soon.